Good morning, everybody. Here is our overnight action. Some thrilling stuff happened overnight. I'll give you a play-by-play, right? We went up. We went down. We went up again and down again. It was crazy. It was wild. The crowd was on the edge of their seats. And lo and behold, we ended up right around where we started. Gonna mark out the high from yesterday. Hope everyone is good today. Good morning to you, Chris, Paul, Mike, Tom. What's up? What's up? Mike, no, I would not say that Fed speak is going to be much of anything. We don't really have any news today. We got through some Canadian news, but that's not ever really much of an impact on U.S. equities. No offense, neighbors of the Great White North. Wow, charts are looking absolutely identical. I just had to actually do a double take and make sure I had it set up properly. This is wild, guys. Look at this. Nasdaq, ES. Nasdaq, ES. I mean, wow, that chart is strikingly similar. So that's great. That's a good sign. Oh, hold on. Is our chart all screwed up there? No, it's all good. Okay. So yeah, we got a range between yesterday's high and yesterday's low. So far an inside day. This is exactly how yesterday or the day before started like this. I don't know. There's been a lot of days that have started like this. Marking out yesterday's low. Already got the high marked out, I think. Yeah. So those are the levels we'll be looking for. Previous day high, previous day low, overnight high, overnight low. And the market is open. We are ready. Let's see what's up. Getting a push up there. Yes. Nearly testing the overnight high. Yas, good morning. Hey, Toad. Yeah, market's moving in complete lockstep so far. This is great. That is very good news for today. Even if it is a little range, I'll take it. So I could maybe getting one more push up here. A little break of that channel. Same on ES. A little break of the channel. Likely a push up to the new high there. Or the range taking over. We'll find out. ES finding a little support at the EMA. We'll see if that wins over or if the range wins over. So far looking like the range. We got a drop below the EMA. And Q as well, drop below the EMA. Coming up to the low of the range. We'll see if that can hold. And again, guys, we have no real economic news today. Very likely that today is a range, an inside day. There's not a lot of catalysts that could drive the market right now, so should already have that in mind. Agreed, Mike. Fridays are the worst. Or they're the best because then it's time for the weekend, right? Good morning, Jonathan. Happy Friday. Ron, happy Friday to you. Mike asking, when trading micros, do I use the same tick chart? No. Since micros are technically a different instrument, you have to adjust it. And I take the same, I've said this many times, just put it next to a 2000 tick chart of VS and adjust the ticks until the bars are looking more or less like the, more or less the same number of bars. Or what I do is I just use, that's one way to do it. If you want to trade the micro chart directly, I prefer just trading the regular mini chart. So trading, like if I wanted to trade MES, I would take this ES chart, trade it using a trade copier, use my sim account as the leader account, and whatever accounts I want to trade MES on, I would just copy that, do a crossover copy to that. We do have a bit of a bullish bias in this range on the S&P. Got higher lows forming, a lot of empty space at the bottom of this thing. So in general, we are moving up. NQ doesn't have that same bias, but certainly testing the top of this range. But this range looks really healthy. So actually, if we get, like if this attempts to break out here and then turns into a bearish hammer, I will take that short on NQ. And we're going to find out soon, I think, whether this is a failed breakout or not. Looks like it wants to try. Okay, there's our failed break. And we're going to be taking this here. I like that bar. Two legs up. Failed breakout. Bearish bar. See if we can get filled. If our trade doesn't get triggered on this bar, we're gonna have to cancel it. Have about 500 ticks left. And if it makes a new high, we'll also cancel it. looks like this ain't gonna work. Order cancel, bummer. And that is why we wait, folks. If sellers can't even push it past the signal bar, then there's no reason to enter. That's why we don't just market into things. We wait for the trade to trigger. We're going past a measured move on NQ. We could have some more bullishness here. ES is right at the top of the range, but because of this extra space at the bottom, I'm not gonna be fading this. And unless this is a really good bar, I might consider it. This thing really turns around. But NQ is quite bullish, so kind of looks like we might be going up. That bar definitely was not bearish enough. And this bar so far is an inside bar, didn't tick higher. So even if this turned bearish, I'm not going to take it. Bummer, it's going to work out, isn't it? No matter. Gotta follow the system, gotta follow the rules. Can't just jump into things because we want to. All right, if we get a really nice lower high on ES, I would consider, but again, it's got to look really good with this bull bias that's made its way into the range. This is looking like its own trend on NQ. And I'm going to throw on, just realized I do not, I don't know, every day I always forget to put on my trade exchange news feed. It's so important. I'm getting that up right now to see if there's any news hitting the headlines. Nothing of note really this morning. The president talked yesterday about how chips are going to be made in the States. There's going to be 100% tariff for chips made out of the States. and the market had an initial bullish reaction, which obviously is good for American manufacturing, good for jobs, but it's going to take a while for that to actually implement. Yeah, Toad, I agree. It's going to be a long time for anything to really solidify in the States. All right, we got to map out this trend on ES. Very clear. We're going up here. Maybe even be a wider move. Still think NQ looks better than ES. And yeah, Mike, that would be the natural area that we would look at, would be yesterday's high. If we zoom out, this is still an inside day, folks. Keep that in mind. We have not breached yesterday's high or low. Just barely breached that overnight high. That's the first thing that has to hold. So in all likelihood, we'll come back to test this and see if that can hold or not. All right. We're monitoring this pullback, especially on Nasdaq. Want the 21 to hold, and we can get a long entry here. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Not too bearish now. Not too bearish. Didn't even get back there. Still working our way back. Could get to the moving average here. Definitely looking bullish as we didn't just race down to the EMA. We're having some mixed candles on the way down. So definitely looking to buy if we can get it. ES. We're also waiting for the pullback, but we made a new high. We're not even really close to that right now. Another new high on S&P. Nasdaq, not quite making it there. Looks like we're going to get another new high on ES without that pullback. So definitely waiting for another chance to enter here on our way to yesterday's high. Wondering if the Nasdaq, if there's any, yeah, I don't see any wide channels we could really draw. That doesn't work. So this is looking played out on NQ for now. We may be in for a bit of a bearish correction, but still overall bullish, still waiting for an entry. We'll switch over to ES as this trend is still valid. Come on back, baby. Come on back for us. Oh boy, guys, the market is frozen. At least it's frozen in a direction though, eh? At least we're not still stuck in the range. It looks like we're actually going somewhere. Watching this pullback for an entry. Again, on NQ, the uptrend already played out with a break of the channel and a new high, so we would expect a correction. On ES, we still have the trend valid, and we're just waiting for that pullback in the EMA to hold and get a second entry. Mike, ever heard of Funding Tick Prop Firm? I have. Actually, I've been testing them out, and I did a lot of research. I like the firm, and you can actually use my code if you want a discount there. I haven't really promoted them yet, but I'm going to. Dang, ES, another new high. My goodness. That likely means, Mike, that you haven't signed off your trading view. I'm assuming you're doing on NinjaTrader. You haven't signed off on your Tradeovate thing. You have to go to tradeovate.com and log in with your information, accept the terms and conditions, and that'll get you access to the data. Otherwise, it'll be delayed data. Still waiting on that pullback that has not come. Come on, you son of a gun. And Q still hanging out right around that high. We're still expecting a pullback. ES going to the moon, apparently. But at the same time, still an inside day. Still haven't even tested yesterday's high. This looks like the kind of market either that's just going to continue grinding up, or is all of a sudden going to have just a big bearish drop. Another new high for ES. Coming to the top of the channel here. If it keeps going up, we could widen it to match these highs down here. That's kind of our only other option with that channel. Like if it overshoots and then keeps going. But this may just go straight up to that new high without ever even touching the EMA. Very top of that channel, this is hopefully where we can get a pullback. All right, here we go. Here is our pullback, NQ correcting, and some volatile action. It's getting a little whippy. This is looking kind of news-like, guys. I'd be cautious here. Come on, S&P, get on back to the EMA for us. We stay impatient out there, ladies and gentlemen. Is anyone just marketing into this, getting FOMO, or even worse, trying to pick a top? Don't do it. You'll regret it later. Even if it wins today, you're going to regret it later. You used to, Paul, yeah. I'm sure we've all been there. We've all either jumped into stuff without a real setup or tried to pick a top. We've all done it. I think it's part of the journey a little bit. Full pour, Ed. Go get him. Go get him, Tiger. Coffee. Oof. Sounds good to me. All right, we're back at the EMA. Imagine this. Imagine this. I will say, I expect after this just drift up here, very top of this wide channel, I do expect probably a larger pullback. Would not be surprising if we get all the way back to here. So just watching this. But if the moving average holds and we get that second entry, gotta take it. Gotta take it. But I will feel better honestly, if it corrects a bit more. If the sellers really have an opportunity to try to reverse this market, and it plays out, that'll give us a lot more confidence trading from the long side. It's always hard to take a long when you're just drifting up and never really pulling back, and it's just, you know, on a rocket ship. When you can see that one side has made a legitimate attempt and not been able to do anything, and then you start to go up, that's when you can have a lot of confidence. Someone's saying NQ took out the previous day high. No, not quite. It rejected off of it, actually. Didn't take it at all. Came right up to it and rejected off so far. Now, of course, it can get back above and confirm above, but it hasn't done that yet. So far, we got a rejection. All right, I like this little break here. We can get one more push down and then a push up. That's where the long is going to be the best. Javi, yeah, it did quote unquote sweep. It swept liquidity. ES was close, never quite got there though. All right, but now we have 2 legs down on this bearish move. So hopefully we can get a push above. Matt asking, that's a good question. On second entries, do I want the first entry to hold the EMA? That's the best. That's the ideal scenario, but it's not a hard and fast rule that it always must be the case. But yes, in general, or like best case scenario, you have your EMA and the hold on one second. And like, let's say here's your trend. You have a pullback that holds it once and holds it twice. It's like a support level. So imagine the EMA like a support level. That's ideal. That's ideal. But it's not always going to happen like that. And especially in stronger trends, you don't need to have that requirement. But that's what an A+ looks like. So if the context isn't great, you do probably want to wait for that. Get extra confirmation. Okay, so hopefully this little downtrend is played out on NQ. It's still active. We're still in our little push down. S&P, in order to take a long, we're going to need to see a double higher low. Push above the 21. Whoa. What the heck? I had a resting order or something there. Matt asking, am I up to something fun this weekend? What am I up to this weekend? I don't even know, dude. I think we're gonna chill. It's a good question. I should probably figure out what the heck I'm gonna do this weekend. Oh, that's right. It's gonna be hot this weekend. Well, definitely we got a pool in our backyard. And my kids will want to take some time and enjoy the pool, so it's probably where we'll be, hanging out in the backyard, relaxing, enjoying the pool. All right, ES looking to pop up. NQ already did above the 21. Interesting that NQ is leading the way back above the moving average there. Looks like it wants to take another stab at that high. A little bit of rejection. This may be a wider downtrend that needs a new low. Still bullish though. We are still bullish. Ooh, that's a nice higher low. Honestly, that's kind of tempting to take right there. I'll wait for the double higher low though. So we had one higher low here. I want to see the next one really like break and retest the EMA. And no dice. No dice. Rejection of the 21. No matter. We'll still wait for the same thing. Like to get a new low of the still move down and then push up, and then we can really have confidence, maybe even take the first higher low there. See where this bar ends though. Nope, not quite above the EMA. Darn. Interesting. ES a little bit weaker than the Nasdaq right now, even though it's the one that's in a confirmed uptrend. But it's rejecting at the EMA. Meanwhile, NQ is above. And by the way, this could be a short entry, right? We do have a little downtrend that is pretty likely to get that new low, but not a good idea when the overall trend is up. So could this be an entry for a short? Yes, but you're trading against the overall trend. %50 of the time, it worked every time. Yeah, baby. Ooh, NQ. Trying yesterday's high again. Boy, this short is really tempting on ES. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Got a lower high, confirming a second entry short. I just can't bring myself to do it. Got to follow my rules. But for you adventurers out there, pretty decent looking short. If we're just looking locally at the pattern, while ignoring the context, which you should never do. Don't ignore the context. But if we did... Moment of truth. Moment of truth. Where are we going? All those lower high traders. Those bears are sweating right now. There's the push up. That's why you don't trade against the trend. All right, but now we're above the EMA, so bias. We know what it is. This trend is holding. So now we're just looking for confirmation off that EMA. Something along those lines. Get us long. May even consider a higher low if we get it right on the 21. NQ also bullish. pushing above previous day's high. This is starting to look like a secondary channel here. So we will also consider a second entry long as we can hold this level. And then we might have to wait till we get above the next one too. All right, well, we know what we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen. Looking for that long. Bias is clear. Trend is up. This is some pretty decent movement for a Friday, so I'm excited about that. And we should be able to hunt a few scalps today. So, yeah, I'm going to be in the Discord doing that. You guys know my bias. You know what I'm looking for. Hopefully, you can have some luck finding those setups. Don't force anything on this Friday. Remember, there's a great weekend to enjoy. You don't want to sour it by taking bad trades. So, quick question by Matt. When I start a 150 account, if they have an end-of-day drawdown with a max drawdown of 6,000, what kind of risk do you personally allow yourself per trade? That sounds like a very specific question. As a matter of fact, that sounds like a Tradeify account. Those numbers remind me of that. Look, it really depends on, you have to think about risk in terms of your performance. Like there is no answer of here's what you should risk per trade. That all depends on your own personal performance. You have to think about how many losses in a row are you likely to have given your trading performance. And then set your sizing to adjust for that. Like if you're a really high win percentage trader, you can trade bigger size because you will likely get to the targets before you encounter a losing streak. But if your strategy is more lower win rate, you're going to have to probably endure a little bit of a losing streak. You don't want to blow your account on a regular set of losses. So just figure, look at your stats, look at how you perform, figure out about how many losses you can expect in a row, and give yourself some cushion. Make it so that you can take those losses and not worry about the account blowing up. So that'd be how I'd approach it. Yeah, so again, guys, we know what we're looking for. Hopefully we can get it soon. Watch for that pullback to the EMA here on ES. Hopefully we can get a trade towards that new high. If we get above that high, shoot, then we're really going to be bullish and continuing to look for longs throughout the day. So have a great weekend, everybody. Appreciate you. Discord link is below. See you over there. Otherwise, see you on Monday. Take care.